B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. Shabbat Shalom. Parshat Reah. Another one of the amazing parshas. I wanted to talk about death in Judaism, how to deal with death, because unfortunately life is like a train. We hope everybody lives a fruitful and long and healthy life, but during the C-19 virus, we saw a lot of, unfortunately, observant Jews passed away. So how do we deal with death according to the Torah, and why are we not allowed to excessively mourn? The Torah in Reah, beginning of chapter Yud Dalet 14 in this week's Parsha Re'eh, says, Banim atem la'Hashem Elokechem. Contrary to what the Christians say, all of the Jews are the children of Hashem. Banim atem la'Hashem Elokechem. Hashem, we are His children. Therefore, the Torah commands us, these are the 613 commandments, is Lo titkodedu ve'lo tasimu korcha al ben enechem lemet. There are two things that are forbidden to do when somebody passes away as a sign of mourning. First of all, we're not allowed to cut flesh. The Muslims, the Shiite Muslims do this. It's called qameh. They take like a sword and they make themselves bloody between their eyes, on their flesh. That is absolutely forbidden according to the Torah. Second thing is, some people, they go hysterical and they tear out the hair of their head. This is also forbidden. So the Siporno says, why does the Torah have to introduce to us this idea that we're Hashem's children, therefore we shouldn't act mishugana, crazy, and do hysterical things when somebody passes away, like cut ourselves and tear out our hair. So the Siporno says, because just like God is eternal, he says, why do people go hysterical? Because they think they're never going to see their loved one again. And yes, there's so much pain and suffering, and so many people live this world. Unfortunately, it's heartbreaking in an untimely manner, like my own father. He left over 3 orphans. But the Jew, we saw this in the Holocaust. The ones that have real emunah, they don't go, they're at peace when they go to meet their Creator, because they know that it's the beginning. It's not the end of their existence. It's the beginning of their real existence, to be back with their Father in heaven. And that's why it says, just like God is eternal, you're the Son of God. You have the same attributes as God. Your soul is also eternal. That's why when we lose a loved one, we're not allowed to go crazy and hysterical and start damaging ourselves and making ourselves bloody or ripping out our hair. Because why you want to act in such a unwise and wild and barbaric fashion? The person is going back to his father, and he has the same type of DNA. Just like his father is eternal, God is and always has been and will be forever, so too the neshama is something eternal, like its father. And therefore, he says, why does it have to say, because you're a holy nation, in the next pasuk? Because the Siporno says, and don't worry about the soul of your loved one burning in hell forever. It's not going to get deleted, because 99.9999% of the Jewish souls stay forever. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Actually, all Jews have a portion in heaven. And Rav Chaim Volozhiner says that hell is not really a punishment, it's a cleansing process. The greatest pleasure in the world is not food or that of sexual intimacy. The greatest pleasure, the Mesilat Yesharim says, is the soul being able to be pure and connect and bask in the glory and connect back to its source where it was created from, the Shekhinah. Now, in order to be pure, some souls need to be cleansed. But he says, don't worry. Eventually, this soul is going to get to a pleasure which is so awesome and outstanding that it's a whole different dimension of pleasure. All the pleasures of this world is worthless to the pleasure that we receive in heaven when we are able to bask in the glory of God. And this is really why it's very important to understand not to be hysterical when somebody passes away. That's why in Halakha and Shabbat, even if somebody's loved one passes away, he's not allowed to show any emotion, any crying or anything. How could this be? Because our emunah has to be so steadfast and unwavering that we know this soul is with it's in a good place. It's in the hands. It's under the shadow and the hands of its Father in heaven. And that's why at the graveyard we tear our clothing to symbolize that just like this clothing, we're going to change it soon. The body is like the clothing of the neshama. So when a person passes away, he's just taking off his clothing, but is the real diamond, which is eternal. His soul is going to go back to his Father in heaven. Have a wonderful Shabbat, and we hope everybody lives long and well. But we have to know to deal. The Torah is so glorious that it tells us how to deal with every single part of life from A to Z. Be well.